We're on the passenger side. As you can see, I got my axle out. Everything was still on it, but because it has play here, that means it's that this. Oh gosh, now I forget what it's called. Anyway, this wasn't pushed in far enough, and there's not supposed to be any play. It should be nice and tight. So it's a good thing we got that taken off there. That started to come out. Don't know why. Just because, I guess. I did think about changing my parking brake shoes. As you can tell, they're pretty worn. But, you know, for right now, it's undetermined if I'm going to change that or not. My rotor is still on because I had a stripped bolt, or a stripped, where's that? That one right there is stripped. So I went to O'Rongley's and I bought that. Well, you can't really tell from this angle, I guess. I bought these. I'm supposed to get out stripped nuts and washers and whatnot. And well, needless to say, I went down a size, couldn't get it over it, and still just it's on there. So I guess when I get these taken off, I will see about getting that off, because I got a whole nother lug nut that I'm going to put on to replace that one if I can get it off. If not, well, I guess that wheel spacer's on there for good, and probably have to cut it off, and I don't really want to do that. Could probably apply some heat to it and try it then. I think that'll be the next thing. But right now, I think that's all I am gonna do on the backside. Here at the shop again, I got my wheel hub on the driver's side about ready to come off. It's 3 12-point half-inch bolts. May have to use some penetrating oil. There's one there, and there's one back over on this side, but I already got that one out. You have to turn the wheel, and have to lean, I got your back wheel right, so I can get these two on the back side, and you do this one here, you're allowed to turn the wheel left, just make it easier, make it simpler for you, and let's see which. We have to again, do what you can. Sprayed all this all around this wheel bearing with penetrating oil, because it's probably going to take quite a bit to get it off. So maybe I have to spray it again, but that's the basis of it. Take your 3 bolts out, and you should be ready to pull that thing off. Everybody, back here again at the shop. This is like, I don't know, by this point, part 1,000,005. So last time I was here, I was having trouble getting the wheel bearing off. Well, finally got it off with a little bit of a persuasion and a little bit of heat. Well, I got both of these down here now. As you can tell, you know, they're the same length. Don't look at this one's a little more raised up, a little not as, you know, far back. Maybe I gotta clean my lens off here. I don't really have a rag to do that. Anyway, now we're back here. Okay, so you may be wondering, well, what's wrong with it? Well, obviously you could tell it's older. You can tell that it does not have the ring around it right there. It's all a little bit dry rotted. And I'll set my tripod down here. Okay, start off with this one. Really loose, you know, doesn't really click or anything, you know, everything's still together this way, but I don't know if you can hear that on there, but it's loose, very, and you know, the new ones, nice and solid, nice and tight, no movement in and out. I'm going to be very careful with the new one. Any new axle you get will come with a new axle nut, so I don't have to reuse this old one. So let me show you the comparison here. The old one doesn't really have a raised end on it. The new one does, so I think that'll be a lot better. I think probably what they were trying to do there is probably take out the need for this washer, but I'm still going to use the washer anyway since it didn't come with it. I'm going to go ahead and use that, and I'll get rid of this. So it'll go in the scrap pile, and we will get on to the next thing. Alright, so got my new axle in there now. As you guys can tell, just want to be careful when you install it. Make sure it goes into the differential correctly. Give it a spin, make sure your other side's spinning. Take your sandpaper, wherever I put mine. Want some sandpaper and abrasive sponge. You want to get all the area that your new hub is going to touch. You want to get it clean before you put the anti-seize on it. I need a rag. Differential fluid, but stick it in there. I just bought the last one they had, and then Advanced Auto Parts don't have any.
Just now?
Yeah.
Right before we got here.
Well, no, they should be able to get something out of it.
Yeah.
Get two.
Well, you got let them know.
Alright, now you're going to take your anti-seize. Doesn't necessarily need to be a specific brand. Just take, I got the cheaper one because as long as you get some on there, it's all that matters. Yeah.
He's like, yeah, next time. If it works, it works.
You don't need too much, you just need a light layer. And I believe the last person that did this was probably the dealership, and they didn't put any anti-seize in it because it took a lot of heat and a lot of beating on that old wheel hub to get this thing off, just so I could replace the CV axle. Got the inside a good coat. Got the outside a good coat. Your ABS sensor and your speed sensor doesn't come through the hub, so you don't have to worry about specifics on where you put this. So you just take it, just want to make sure you get it right on the splines, give it a little twist, push it on there.
You want to show what brand you got?
I just got the Permatex little $5 thing of anti-seize. Got some 400 grit sandpaper. You don't want to use nothing too coarse because you may end up ruining the metal surface. You always want it to be smooth. Smart thing to do is to get some thread lock, Loctite, whatever you want to call it. As long as you get some, it doesn't matter what kind.
Kind of looks like chapstick. Don't get mixed up.
Yeah. And just kind of spread that around there. People probably telling me I'm doing this wrong, but oh well. Most important thing is I'm getting it done. I don't see a need in using a whole lot of the stuff because either way you're gonna have it torqued down. So